Andrew McCART, IFL TV in association with MTK Global. Delighted, as always, to be joined by Mr. Alex Arthur. Alex, it's been a long time, brother.
It has, man. Good, bro. Everything's alright. We're
considering
the absolute nonsense that's going on in the world just now and how it's affecting us as a boxing club, and the young guys not getting to compete is it's pretty dire.
That's it. You've got your two young laddies that compete in the amateur scene. I mean, they're just behind us right now. How are they coping with it? And obviously we'll bring Mark and I think but how are they coping?
They're not. I mean, they've held it together so far up to now, and they've done very, very well. Of course, we're very fortunate to have our own gym so we can train constantly. They've never stopped training. We've done all kinds of training to help them keep developing, you know, as young athletes. You know, we've done loads of strength conditioning work, we've done loads of technical boxing training, we've even sparred loads as well, you know, not a lot, we've sparred enough to keep us sharp, but I'm pretty beat up now, so they've only really got each other to spar with, which has been pretty dire.
Well, I'm here.
And you're here today, so you can put the body shield on and the bar guard and everything and let them beat you up for a change.
I don't think I can take. I've seen Macklin and Junior on them bags, but I don't think I can take any of their punches. But so let's just jump straight into the news and stuff like that. Obviously, being that we're both Scottish, huge fight for Josh Taylor against Jose Ramirez. Amazing. May 22nd out in Vegas. We spoke a little bit off camera, but your thoughts on that fight itself?
Well, again, I didn't want to be the bearer of bad news to the fans and everybody that is considering this fight like a super fight for Josh, because I didn't really think it is. I think it's quite an easy fight. I think there's a very one-sided fight as well. I think Josh is a million times better than this guy. I think he's very one-dimensional. He's a world-class fighter, there's no doubt about that. But again, as we always say, there's levels in this sport and there's levels to this contest, because I really don't believe that this guy has got anything in his arsenal that can upset Josh. At the very, very worst, Josh gets dragged into a fight with this guy and they stand toe to toe. But even at that, I don't think Ramirez has got that much of a chance. But that's his best chance. If Josh chooses to box and move anti-clockwise and keep his right foot outside Ramirez's left foot, and you know, he's terrible coming forward, this guy. Falls over his feet, and his actual punch position is pretty poor as well. He's ungainly, he's unorthodox, but still he can make that work for him, but it depends on the opposition. And against Josh Taylor, I just didn't think that's a possibility. I would be absolutely shocked. It'd be the biggest upset, in my opinion, in Scottish boxing history. Not that we've had a lot of upsets, but it certainly would. I think it's a very easy fight, and I think that, you know, Josh could actually win this on a landslide, a whitewash, if he wants to.
You think he can stop Ramirez though?
I think he can stop him, certainly. I think, you know, early on, Ramirez could run into a body shot, you know, a nice bolo shot to the solar plexus as he's just lunging in is a perfect shot for a guy like that. But of course, you know, they say, you know, Mexicans, we all know how tough they are, and you know, but he's up against a mad Scotsman, as Josh said in one of his interviews. So I honestly really didn't see a way that Ramirez can win this fight.
What does that mean for Scotland then, Josh becoming the first 4-belt undisputed world champion? I mean, like you said as well that you're involved in the amateur scene in Scotland and you haven't seen young talent coming through in Scotland. It's a shame that we can't get them out fighting, obviously, but for Josh to go on and win these 4 belts for Scottish boxing, I mean, right now we've got young kids like Lee McGregor, obviously, you know very well. We've got Cash Farouk, you know very well. We've got Willie Hutchison doing his thing. We've got John Doherty. We've got I'm trying to think. Mark McKeown won outstanding last.
He was very good last time.
So Kieran Smith still had there and there, but I mean, right now Scotland in the professional ranks we're doing brilliant. So what does this mean for Scotland, Josh, becoming undisputed at the 4-belt stage? Well,
it's a massive boost for the morale of all the Scottish boxers. It's amazing. I mean, you know, I've said it 100 times in interviews. We've got unbelievable talent in Scotland. We always have had, always, and we always will have. What we do tend to not have as much as as good fighters we've got as coaches somehow. I don't know why, because I mean we have got good coaches. There's no doubt that we've got good coaches here in Scotland. You know, I think it's something that we do very well. We do pretty well in football as well when it comes to coaching and management and stuff. But I think that for the morale, the young fighters in Scotland coming through, the young guys that you mentioned, and even the young amateurs coming through as well, it's a massive, massive boost for Scottish boxing to have an undisputed world champion. It's huge.
You think he'll move up to 147 after this?
Aye, I think he should as well. I mean, for his overall health and well-being. I mean, I know there was talk of him possibly going down to 135, which I think would be crazy. You can do it. You can do it. I mean, I came from the high 170s to 130 on a regular basis to make weight for fights. It's possible. Can you continually perform well while doing it? No, you can't.
Yep.
You just can't. Your body does not allow it. And by the time that you get to your late 20s, early 30s, something changes in your physiology that doesn't allow you to put those sort of demands on your body anymore. It's very, very demanding. It's very draining. And it affects you physically, obviously. It affects you mentally as well. It also affects you, in my opinion, neurologically. And your central nervous system and stuff just doesn't work the same.
Yeah.
I would take on occasion three days to recover for a weigh-in. You know, I wouldn't be close to being recovered by fight time. So going up, in my opinion, for Josh at this point in time is probably going to be quite important, because another thing I really believe, through personal experience and through just boxing experience in general, is you don't get it back. Something goes and it doesn't come back again. So if you hold on to that weight too long, something does not return, even though you do move up.
That punch resistance?
I'm not too sure exactly what it is, but you lose something. No, it's not so much punch resistance, or you lose something that it's hard to explain, man. It's like you've went to the well too many times and you can't go back anymore because it's dry. You know, that's my best way of explaining it. And if you go to that well too many times and you take too much water out of it, you can move up to heavyweight if you want. You just will not reclaim the same hand speed, hand-eye coordination. Something goes, man.
Yeah.
You can't pull the trigger anymore as well either. You know, you just can't pull the trigger anymore. That's the oddest thing, and it happens to boxers. So you've got to be exceptionally careful. We've seen it happen loads of times. I mean, it happened to myself. So you just have to be very careful for that, and you need a good coach, a good manager, a good trainer to say it's time to go up now, because you know it's getting too difficult.
Well, he's not short of any good fights if he does move up or he does hang around at 140. I mean, Teofimo Lopez has said he would like to fight him.
Aye.
Terence Crawford's there for him at 147. The last two undisputed world champions if Josh does come through. Ramirez. So from here on out, it's nothing but big fights, bigger fights for Josh Taylor.
It's amazing. There's so much potential in terms of, you know, big fights out there waiting for Josh. You know, after this fight takes place, and it would be great to see him move up. If you know, to hold the 140 weight class for a fight against Lopez makes perfect sense. Absolute perfect sense. And then after that, definitely time to go up.
Well, Ian McGregor's fighting 2 weeks' time. Finally, hopefully, fingers crossed, all good. You know Lee very well. European title. I mean, in the next couple of months, we could have all 4 world titles at one space with a fighter. European, British, and Commonwealth with Lee McGregor. So not just Scotland, but Edinburgh's a wee city.
I know.
A fighting city, man. We're doing all right.
It's amazing, man. We really are. I mean, I always thought we had the best boxers anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there was Ken McCartan, then it was you, then it was Josh, now me. So we're doing all right.
I think we're doing all right. You know, it's. I mean, of course, Glasgow and some of our other cities have had fantastic world champions as well. Jim Watt, Benny Lynch, Scott Harrison, great world champions, and great fighters overall. But like I said earlier, boxing in Scotland, we've always got great boxers. We've always got super talented boxers. It's just now that we're getting the chance to be on the world stage where everybody can see how good we are.
That's the thing with Scotland. Like I said to you jokingly, like you close the pubs in Scotland for a year, we qualify for the Euros, and we beat England in Twickenham. I know. Rugby, so, do you know what I mean? We are athletes, just don't let us drink. We'll be fine. You know what I mean?
I mean it is, or it does seem like that is the case. It's amazing, really. Let's see what happens when we open back up. We might go back to 1-0 again, but our boxers always turn out results. Always, we always seem to, no matter what. Maybe because it's fighting. I don't know.
That's it. Pubs, drink and fighting might be our speciality. Now I do want to talk about Canelo.
Right.
I mean, for a world champion, he's fought twice in 10 weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, he's Callum Smith. Then he's went and done his mandatory challenger in Yildirim. He just seems to, he can't put a foot wrong at this moment.
Nah, you really can't. He's he's exceptional. For me, he's the best pound for pound fighter in the world. Stylistically, he's a guy I like to watch most. I don't think he does hardly anything wrong. He's fantastic. He's a great athlete as well. From what I'm told, he's a very disciplined guy. He lives a good life outside the ring, and he's the face of boxing, isn't he? He's doing a great job for boxing, because he's a wee bit of a throwback as well. You know, he's just a fantastic picture for boxing. Fantastic.
Billy Joe Saunders up next. I mean, that's 10 weeks, so just what, 21 weeks or whatever it is, 4 or 5 months, he's fought 3 times. Billy Joe Saunders, undefeated in 30 fights, southpaw slick. We've seen against Erislandy Lara that he does have trouble with slick southpaws. Even slick fighters in itself at Mayweather. Billy Joe Saunders comes with him a little bit of mind games, trash talking and stuff like that. Maybe Canelo hasn't faced something like Canelo in that sort of sense. No. I
didn't think he has. I think you're very right there. I didn't think he's faced anybody quite like Billy Joe Saunders in his life. And he will have to make adaptations, and you know, he'll have to change some things stylistically. I think he can't be as flat-footed, or you know, he can't just step over and step across Billy Joe Saunders all night long. He'll have to be on his A game. He'll have to be 100%. I think his advantage is that, again, as we said earlier, he's very active. And I don't think he's got any weight trouble making super middleweight. Where if Billy Joe Saunders is telling the truth with his recent pictures of the scales, which I very much doubt, is because he looks in good shape as well. Then there might be an issue, but I don't believe that's true somehow. I think he's starting his mind games already. Aye, because when the fight was announced and we seen him, he looked in pretty good shape. Billy Joe Saunders, even though he had an apron over his body, he still looked in good shape. And other fighters can recognise that when you look at it. But I think stylistically it's a really, really interesting fight.
Give Billy a chance?
Right now, I have to be honest, no, I don't. But I didn't give anybody a chance against Canelo. I wouldn't be too far surprised if he could go up to heavyweight and win a heavyweight title.
Jokingly, he said that he wants to keep creating history, so who knows?
Roy Jones, I know, Roy Jones done it, I mean, different
but he's tiny, Canelo.
Physiology, he's only the same height as us, like 5'9" and
6 foot.
With platforms on.
Exactly.
He's the most complete fighter on planet Earth right now. He's absolutely perfect. There's nothing that he's perfectly built for 12 rounds. He really is. He's the most difficult guy in world boxing to beat right now, and I don't think it's possible. Or I mean, the only guy that I think would give him a real hard time down or around those weights is Bertiev. Bertiev, yeah.
That's a bit light heavy as well.
And it's up at light heavy. You know, so it's a hard gig to beat Canelo. Really hard.
Yeah.
But if you had to pick someone out to beat Canelo, I would pick a southpaw, somebody who moved a lot, who made the first initial move to get a reaction, then another counter punch. You know, so basically countering Canelo's counters. Stay on the outside, try and lead him in, counter and move, maintain that for 12 rounds. You've got a chance. Can Billy Joe Saunders do it? You know, remains to be seen. That's why boxing's so exciting.
Exactly, and it's in May as well. So 2 big fights in May. We've just spoken about Canelo Saunders and Josh and Ramirez. Now another big fight that we've spoken about on numerous occasions. I don't really know who you think. I think you've said who you think would win the fight against Joshua and Fury. But it looks like both parties.
It looks like it.
They're there or thereabouts. There's talking about June. It looks like this fight is going to happen. I'm not privy to anything, obviously, but we're talking to Eddie and stuff like Eddie Hearn. There's 90% chance, and Bob Arum been speaking to IFL TV as well. It looks like we're there or thereabouts. So how happy are you to finally have this fight being made? Because it's been talked about for so long, and it's one for the fans, isn't it?
It's a very important fight for boxing. It's very important for the sport, and it really has to happen. You know, a lot of the world's media and just the general public look to the heavyweights as the sort of front runner of boxing. You know, so that's why it's really important for the sport. I think that this fight has to take place. You know, because we have missed out on a few, you know, great fights in the past, or they've happened too late in recent years, and you know, this is perfect timing for these two guys, and you know, it's it has to happen. It has to happen. You know, the UFC are kind of mocking boxing now, saying that, you know, they're taking past us because the best fight the best, and there's never any argument with that, and that is the case. And I think that boxing really has to step up and, you know, sort of let the world know that we are the dominant, combat sport. Aye, and we are. But you know, it's an age-old sport. It's an age-old tradition, boxing, and you know, the best have to fight the best. And you know, it's a super fight. It's a super fight. 2 Brits as well.
And again, that undisputed title as well. Now, I know you probably said who you thought win that fight, but who
the Triple Eight Ghost.
Yeah, Ghost. Your prediction on that fight? Then, do you think?
I still think Fury wins on points. I still think he does. Yeah. He's a really difficult guy to beat, and I really didn't see how, if Joshua, you know, it's got a good 6 rounds in him, in my personal opinion, and then I believe, even at that, I believe Fury takes over in the later part of the fight, could force a stoppage, but I would imagine he'll run out of quite a landslide points winner.
Boxing's back. We're back. We've got Carl Frampton Herring. We've got Dillian White against Parker.
Yeah.
Conor Ben's coming in against Vargas and stuff like that as well. So what other fights, or if any, are you looking forward to in the lead up to these big fights in May that we just spoke about?
Well, there's so many good fights to look forward to. I mean, there's so many potential good fights. There's loads of potential fights out there right now. And you know, I've been like being out and doing a little bit of game with the zone and stuff, and you know, there's fights I would love to see. I think Conor Ben's ready for some tastier nights now. You know, he's starting to look really good. He's developing at a great rate, and he's having great learning fights as well. His last fight was fantastic for him. I really like him as well. He's a really nice lad, and I think that guys like Marku and stuff are great fights for Conor Ben. Is it Avanasian? Avanesian just won his fight with, you know, with Josh Kelly, and you know, a wee bit of an upset there as well, and you know, that's another fight that I would like to see Conor Ben involved in. I think he's Avanesian a great fight. Yeah. Maybe no the next bout, but a bout or two away. You know,
what's that European title? I think Ben comes through Vargas. Yeah. Maybe he is ready for that European title shot.
Aye, definitely. I think he is. I would love to see him in the bouts now. But there's so many big potential fights. It'll be interesting to see where Lopez decides to go after Cambosa as well. I wonder if
that lightweight division, they call it the new 4 kings, but they still get to fight each other. Lopez is the Haney.
But he's so big, man. He's so big. Have you seen him on social media lately? He looks like a middleweight. He's huge, man. I don't know how he can make 135.
I took a photo with him in Texas, me and him together.
Yeah.
And I would say he's slightly bigger than me, and I'm
really wow. I mean, he looked massive, man. Yeah. He looks about 160 pounds right now, and he's no fat. No. He's not fat. He's not fat at all. But he is young, and when you're younger, your body seems to be able to agree with you. You know, when you're making weight and stuff, you can still seem to perform really well. You know, I could on occasion lose a couple of stone and drink a bottle of Powerade. I was ready to fight right away when I was younger. But as you get older, it gets a wee bit different. Yeah. But it'd be really interesting to see where he goes after that fight as well. Boxing's really, really exciting just now. Gervonta Davis is. Ryan Garcia. I would love to see they two fight. I would love to see they two fight and soon. You know, but Davis, I think, is a 130 pound fighter still. I think he's probably going to develop into a 135. I think, but in the next year or so, I would say, because he's just like a wee fat guy. When he's out of training, he's not like a big guy like Lopez. You know, he's just like a wee fat guy. So, but and of course we did speak about off camera as well. Amateur boxing, you know, in the UK is dead right now. Absolutely dead. It's absolutely dead. And you know, we've been speaking up a wee bit about it lately on social media and stuff. But we just feel now.
Get closer, Matt. Get closer to your dad. Come on, get closer. I'm going to get you both on camera.
We just feel now that it's getting a bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
Why amateur boxing has not been allowed to continue, and we've never had any real
answers.
Real answers as to why. When the rest of the world are boxing, there's competitions ongoing all over, youths, juniors, elite, if that's what you want to call it. If that's what they call it now, elite. They're happening all over the place, you know. But we've just been totally shut down. It's ridiculous. I mean, like I was saying to you earlier as well, I don't know if I've seen in my 30 plus years of boxing in Scotland the amount of talent that's on the go in the youth here just now. Phenomenal.
Well, you said that.
Aye, we're winning European gold, silver, bronzes. We're knocking out Russian number ones, and you know we've never seen nothing like that. But and we're now getting young lads who are getting up to extracurricular activities.
We don't want to lose a generation.
Aye. Well, we're no far away from it. We're no far away from it now.
Macklin,
and it's pretty poor.
So?
I'm alright.
But Larry's fed up. I mean, you were on a roll, weren't you? I mean, Scottish titles. You were the Celtic Cup out in Dublin. You won it. Yeah, sure.
Monkston Cup.
Monkston Cup. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But you're still training away. You're still trying to
well,
stay positive and stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. But it's just there's nothing worse for anyone my age and anyone from just an amateur boxer in Scotland. That's mainly to all of us. It's our lives. It's all we've got. It's all we want to be when we're older. It's always all we've always wanted to be, but I don't know, man.
But how are you staying positive over this? Just training?
I'd say so. There's not really a way to stay positive when you're getting everything taken away from you, like fights, training, seeing your mates, and like boxing mates, coaches, everyone like that makes your days, makes your months, and just makes your childhood, everything. Yeah, it's just.
How is as obviously hearing that from your young laddie? I've known Macklin since he was like 11 when he started boxing. 10, 11 when you were telling me this kid is special when he was doing pull-ups in his bunk beds, and he's always trained. He's always wanted to be a fighter. Like his dream was to turn pro at 18 like that after he's done the British Championship, which is Scottish Championship and whatnot. So how are you as a father, not just as his coach, but how are you keeping him motivated? And Junior over there as well. Junior doing his thing. So how are you keeping these boys motivated and trying to keep them sane during this time?
It's been really, really difficult, and you know sometimes you've got to go quite deep to remind them the reason that they started, and you know the reason that they want to box, and the reason they want to be champions. And you know, so what I have tried to do is throw loads of different training at them. You know, we've took up a lot of strength training just to try and keep them interested, keep them with goals. Goals are really important for young boxers, and I think that if they've got goals to set, weights to pick up, and if they're beating their weights by 10 kilos in 3 or 4 weeks, setting goals is a great target. And technically, and as much as boxing, the ring and stuff, trying to develop new skills, new talents, but you've got to be able to perform. You do that training, you want to go and try it.
Exactly. It's like doing
theory and practice.
Your apprenticeship as a joiner, but then having no wood to cut and nothing to build when you become a full-time joiner. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. They have to get in there. They have to get in there and practice it in competition. Yeah. And the fact that's been taken away from them is awful.
Are you hopeful?
I am hopeful. I mean, I'm a hopeful person anyway. I'm a real sort of optimist. But keeping them all going, and I've seen them have. When you see your kids have up days and down days, and that they're solid-minded young people, that's tough. That's tough. It's been really, really tough to keep them going. And I'm missing it as well. I'm missing the boxing team in here training, and my other coach, Paddy Jamel, and everything that we do is revolves around boxing. Yeah. And it's been taken away from us all. And for what, really? When I say for what, I understand that there's a bad flu going around, and it's hurting some people. It's taking down families and all that stuff. But everywhere else is managing to box apart from here.
These European countries.
All them. Everyone's boxing. And loads of them have been in contact with me. I've got contacts all over the world in boxing, and they cannot believe why we've just stopped. And we've had really no answer for the government, no answer for Sport Scotland, or it's just it just seems to be one big failed attempt to get started again.
See, my worry is losing a generational talent like Macklin.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He still needs to, he's still young, he still needs to train, he still needs to fight, he still needs to learn his craft.
Of course.
What I mean is being that how good he is at this age, he's still learning, he's still got more to improve.
And we've just missed a full year. Macklin had numerous bouts and competitions coming up in 2020, and we're now into 2021, and he's missed them all. That's vital time for.
So what do we need to do, Alex? Tell me what we need to do.
I don't know.
Not for a minute. I believe that. What would you say, around 15 people? 15 people. There needs to be, what is it, 3 referees.
Aye.
Yeah. You don't need any more than 1-2 people in your corner.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's rare that cuts appear at this age and all of that. So I don't believe
Still
that
in
they.
the head guards, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't believe that they should have taken it away from us right at the start. Less than 50. I'd say maybe 10, 11 people.
Yeah.
That's all there needs to be. Just for a kid to have something to work towards and something to have to do and look forward to and all of that. But it's all been taken away.
Yeah, I mean, Spain and Italy were competing in competitions last year. In Spain and Italy, you know, it was amazing really, and we've just been put on hold. We've already lost some brilliant young talent already. You know, there's young kids are taking their lives.
Yeah, exactly.
Young kids are taking their lives, you know, because they can't get to the boxing gym, they can't see their friends, can't see their girlfriends, and you know, the competitions coming up. They're taking their lives because of that.
Well, unfortunately, that happened to a young fighter back in January, and just after the new year. So
it's just terrible, man. Absolutely terrible.
Yeah, we need to. Fingers crossed. Like, we are starting to open up a little bit in April with Tier 4. I think Scotland's going to go into. So if professional sports is back, surely we can sort of like work our way around. Because I know football was back before amateur. Football was back. It was autumn time last year, but boxing wasn't.
But again, I mean, if we have to travel, I mean, I know that they probably wouldn't like us to compete anywhere else, you know. But if we have to, we will, because you know it's our life, it's our career. So if that has to be the case, we'll have to think about something like that. But as you said, here's hoping, you know, wee bit of optimism, things start to open up soon and we can get moving again.
Definitely, I'm totally going to echo that sentiment. But I know you've got Junior over there. He's been shadow boxing for 26 minutes. He'll be itching to hit something. Look at him. Shadow boxing over there with no music on, nothing. Mark, I know you love training, man. That's your life, young man. So I won't keep your dad much longer. So Alex, as always, Macklin, always good to see you, son. Junior, you too.
Thanks, mate.
Well done, Alex. I appreciate
good to see you, bro.
Macklin.
Cheers.
And good. Hopefully I'll see you soon.
Thanks, my man.
Cheers,
I hope so, mate.